Krejcikova versus Madison Keys, the quarterfinal that, to be honest with you, I'm definitely looking forward to. It's going to be a cracker. The number 4 seed and number 4 player in the world versus number 51 player in the world in Madison Keys. But don't be fooled by that ranking. The big hitting American is playing very well, blowing away Badosa in straight sets in phenomenal fashion. And the American is definitely on a fantastic run of form at the moment. Krejcikova, sorry, I keep on butchering her name. I'm really sorry to those fans who know her name properly, because clearly I don't. She has had an inspired past 48 months, a phenomenal doubles champion, winning multiple Grand Slams in doubles, and now she is one of the forces to be reckoned with in the women's game. She won her first Grand Slam last year at Roland Garros in her, well, I think it was something like a 4th Grand Slam appearance in singles, and she just continues to go strength to strength. She was a bit tired at the end of last year, so didn't play particularly well in the WTA finals, but coming into this tournament and the way she's played, she's been very solid. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how she goes. Let's go through the routes to the final for both, and then we're going to do the predictions, head-to-heads, and tactical breakdown as well. Before we get into that, please remember to smash the like button if you haven't done so already. It's a big thumbs up button. It really, really does help us out. I do appreciate you guys. And look, it is a Quality Shot family. And do also subscribe to the channel as well to help us out and help us grow. And click the notification bell if you want to get alerted to all the new videos. Right, let's get into this. Enough of that. Right. If we look at her run as well, she hasn't had a particularly easy run, Krejcikova. She faced a pretty tough few rounds, if I'm being honest with you. Petkovic is not an easy player to face in the first round. She's quite, I would say, quite tricky personally. She's a wily veteran. And yes, of course, she's not the player she used to be, but she's not a bad player by any stretch of the imagination. In terms of, I think, after that as well, it's been extremely interesting to see the rest of her matches. She played Wong and won in straight sets. Ostapenko was a bit more tricky, the former Roland Garros champion as well. She won that in 3. And then against Azarenka, it was a really impressive performance. Azarenka is a former 2-time Australian Open champion, and Krejcikova was really impressive. And for me, that was a statement win, because I actually thought she might get upset just because Azarenka played so well against Svitolina, and she just loves these courts. And that's the reason she's won here twice as well. But Krejcikova played really, really well, managing to get through in straight sets. And to be honest with you, with relative no trouble. Now she plays Madison Keys. Now let's go into Madison Keys' route, and then we'll talk a little bit more about how they're going to line up, or, well, I say line up like as a football team, how they're going to line up tactically, and what we can expect from both players. Madison Keys faced Christian in the first round, won in straight sets. Then Wong, who is a tricky customer, won that in 3, and then a very impressive win over Badosa. I cannot stress it enough. She was returning like an absolute beast, like unbelievable returning from the American. She returned so well, I thought, especially punishing the Badosa second serve. She served really well, aces left and right, spot serving beautifully. And then for me, from the back of the court, she was dictating the rallies and opened up really nicely on that into-out forehand that she strikes so cleanly. And on top of that, hitting the backhand on the line really, really sweetly. And when someone's hitting their backhand on the line, for me, apart from a very, very small select group of players who that's their strength, but for most other players, when they're hitting their backhand on the line sweetly, it means they're in very, very good form. And Keys definitely is in good form. She's striking the ball extremely cleanly. Her serve, MPH is up. She's hitting her spots, and the returning, I have to say, really, really impressive. In terms of a tactical breakdown, let's go into that. So I think for Krejcikova, what she is so good at is hitting her spots with a serve. And then also, we know she's good at the net. So at times she'll try, and she's almost like the equivalent, for me, in my eyes anyway, of her catch on the men's side, but on the women's side. And I think she's probably a slightly better version of that, if we kind of relatively speaking in terms of the women's side. She's got a very effective serve. I think the second serve isn't particularly big, so there's a potential for Madison Keys to attack that. That could be a big factor. How many second serves does Krejcikova give Madison Keys to have a look at? And then how well does Madison Keys return those second serves? Does she return like how she did in that previous match? And if she does, then Krejcikova will be in a hell of a lot of trouble if she's giving her a lot of looks at that. But the rest of her game, very solid off both wings. The backhand's solid, so is the forehand. I would actually say the backhand, in my opinion, is actually slightly more reliable. The other thing I would say is she slices well off the backhand side and comes forward nicely as well. Transitions nicely, good volley at the net, which you would expect from an expert doubles player. And she is a expert elite doubles player. And now she is no doubt a world-class singles player. And for Madison Keys, the question for her is going to be how can she deal with the variety that Krejcikova brings, and is she able to dictate in the points with the forehand? Is she able to blow Krejcikova away like she did Badosa? I don't think it's going to be that easy. She's going to have to serve extremely well as well to her corners, make sure that she looks after her service game nicely, cut out any unforced errors, which we know can happen with Madison Keys, especially as she strikes the ball so cleanly and tries to hit her spots. She's not one of those players who is going to play passively down the middle of the court and expect a mistake out of the opponent. She's someone who tries to hit clean winners and really backs herself, and she has the power to do so. So for me, it's almost a classic power player versus someone who's a counter puncher. It's that kind of classic matchup, and it should make a very entertaining match in styles. And I'm very much looking forward to it. In terms of predictions, so hard to go against Krejcikova because I feel like I did against Azarenka, and she obviously proved me so wrong. Madison Keys played so well against Badosa. It's very hard to look away from her now as well. In terms of pedigree, obviously at the moment, in terms of seedings and who's won a Grand Slam, it's Krejcikova. And despite her not being on tour very long on the single side, and the double side she has been. So she knows how to win. She's got that mentality. Madison Keys has made a final at the US Open. She'd also Sloane Stephens and has been very up and down. So for me, it's going to be the biggest question for me, and where this match could be potentially won or lost, is Madison Keys and her mental game. When things don't go particularly according to plan, if, for example, if Krejcikova is a breakup in one of the sets and Madison Keys has to face a bit of adversity, say she hits a couple of loose forehands, go long, a couple of backhands into the tram lines, does she think, and go into her shell a little bit, or does she stick to her guns? Does she back herself in her game and get through that rough patch and then battle through it? Or does it take her over? So that for me is a huge thing. And actually, I forgot to mention, that she obviously played Sofia Kenin in the first round, former Grand Slam champion. That was a really impressive win in straight sets. So I'm going to go with Madison Keys. It's quite a big call, to be honest with you, because I really do rate Krejcikova. I think she is a phenomenally good player. Just from and it might be a bit of recency bias because I saw her play against Badosa. I covered the whole match on the channel, but just the way she played was just so good. I know Badosa didn't play quite her best level, but Krejcikova is a phenomenally good player. But for me, Madison Keys, if she's able to play near her optimum level, I think she's a handful for anyone. I think she's so difficult to play against. So let's see how this one goes. It's going to be very, very exciting. My prediction is Madison Keys in 3 sets, but let's see. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Please remember to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I'm very, very much looking forward to this. And of course, the winner will most likely play Barty or Pegula. Well, I was about to say most likely plays Barty, but I'll just say they're going to play Barty or Pegula because I don't want to be disrespectful to Pegula, even though Barty is the world number 1. She's got a very good chance. Pegula, she's made a semi-final, and we'll talk about that in the other video that I do covering that quarterfinal. Right, thank you very much, guys. Stay safe and well, and I'll see you on the next video.